Still didn't turn the mic on. We're live though. Maybe I don't have this plugged in properly. There we go. We got the live signal there. John Dooham is watching from the Dooham family. I'll go over here beside William. We've got us a special guest here tonight. A mystery guest. And we're going to have a contest tonight. Not only are we going to talk about some prizes we're going to have tonight, but we'll have a contest. Let's see who can be the first person to guess our mystery guest. There used to be a show, I think, on TV where they would have a mystery guest and they'd see who could guess the mystery guest. I'm going to leave my volume on to see how good. Good? Yep, there we go. So can turn that down. And John Dooham says, good evening, friends. Good evening. And Andrea Doohan is there. How do you pronounce your name?
Andrea.
Oh, she was saying that you're saying it differently. Did we say it right, Andrea? Andrea Doohan. TJ Young. Ha ha ha. Good evening, Dave and family. Brad Hogg says, who is that masked man? That's what we're trying to figure out. And that's the famous Brad Hogg, folks, from the Faith Apries honey. The best honey William has ever eaten in your life. Probably our mystery guest has tried it too once or twice in his lifetime. And what my question to John Doohan and Andrea Doohan is, did you guys try it? Because while I was in Saskatoon and doing a live video with the Doohan family, I gave them a jar of that famous Faith Apries honey. Sharing, caring, folks, if you hit the share button. TJ Young says it's Boss Hogg beside me. No. Wait a minute. It says Boss. I thought he said Brad Hogg. So I said no right off the bat. Kevin Hildebrandt says hello. And let's see. Let's get some more guesses. TJ, I'll answer your guess in a minute. You're getting hot. And Joey says, hi, good evening, Dave and William and guest. Hope you're doing well tonight. And good evening, Dave. Any more guesses here? Moose. Kevin Hildebrandt thinks it's Moose. He's as big as a moose. Mike Wells says, hey, brother. Hey, brother. Dennis Abbott says, good evening, Dave. Mike Wendland says, good evening, guys. And Dennis says, Moose. Richard Toker, brother. Hey, Slick. How are you doing? There's Stacy Stockford. John Dooham said, yes, I did. I loved it. Oh, good. So you loved it better than the other honey or about the same? That's Faith Apries honey, folks. And Stacy says, hi, Dave and William. And the mystery guest, Dennis Abbott says, hi, William. And Scooter says it's Wilson from that TV show. Looks like Wilson, too. That's a good disguise for Wilson. Keith Bazin says, good evening, Dave and William. Can you guess who's beside me, Keith? And folks, what a great night. It's Sunday night tonight. Yep. Sunday night. We got some stuff to give away. We've got some prizes that I'm not going to give away tonight. I'm going to give these prizes away in the next 2 days. But I'm going to tell you what the prizes are. I got a whole bunch of prizes, including from Magnum. I've got another stool from Magnum. One of those chrome heavy-duty Magnum stools. I've got a book called The Fighting Chance. The Fighting Chance by Doug Allen. And I really want to give this to people because this is the high school finance education everybody deserves. This guy wrote a book, easy language, for everybody to be able to get ahead in life. Doug Allen holds a Bachelor of Commerce degree from McGill University with a major in accounting and finance. He graduated with honors before beginning his studies towards being a professor of accounting. Doug became a CPA in 2011, graduated the top percentage of his class in Canada, and is a valedictorian in his home province of British Columbia. He spent his first 8 years of his career with a Big Four accounting firm before moving into commercial real estate development investment. Doug has also served on the board of directors for non-for-profit and for-profit entities, awarded the CPA British Columbia's Early Achievement Award in 2019. Doug is working as a vice president, finance and operations for a commercial real estate investment firm. Doug is married with 2 wonderful kids. This Fighting Chance book, we got 2 signed copies we're going to give away. There's 3 here, but I'm keeping one for myself.
Hey, Dad, look what it does on my screen. Richard Toker is watching. Richard Toker is watching. Richard Toker is watching. Richard Toker is watching.
Oh, weird. Mike Wells says he thinks it's Cliff Hogg. Richard Toker thinks it's Cliff Hogg. John Duham says, I would say it's Cliff Hogg or Brad Hogg. And it looks like, and Keith Bazin says Cliff Hogg. Stacy says, William, you're growing up. Haven't seen you for a while. And Brad Hogg says, Dave, there is no other honey. That's right. There's no other honey than Faith Apries honey, folks. And just go to myhoneyguy.ca, myhoneyguy.com, and get your honey. Share out this video and everything else. And I'm trying to find the first person here. And the first person here said, Boss Hogg, TJ Young. Boss Hogg. You know, TJ Young, I think I'm going to have to bring you some Faith Apries honey. Because guess what? The boss is in the house.
Here I am.
The boss is in the house. And we have a bunch of stuff to talk about tonight and everything else. And you know what? I think the best way to start this off talking is by doing this. Hey, Andrew? Andrew? Could you come here a second, please? He's my little servant and stuff like that. We have a special announcement to make to our Canadian Trucking Magazine family. Go over on the counter. Bring me that box that's on the counter there. We have a special announcement to make, very personal special announcement that's being made to the family of Canadian Trucking Magazine because you're family and you're Cliff Hogg's family. And because we're Cliff Hogg's family, something we're going to do, this is just something that's made up right now, but it is going to be completely made up in gold, and it's going to be a service award.
Oh, wow.
That's going to be presented to Cliff Hogg for his 42 years of essential service as a truck driver and his 5 million plus safe miles driving. Thank you for your service from 1979 to 1921. Thank you so much, the boss.
Thank you.
It's a 1921.
1921.
1921.
Yeah, but folks, it's on a piece of paper on the plaque right now, but that's so that the plaque people can turn around and do you want to go and hold this to the camera so they can see?
That's really nice.
The plaque people can do that because the boss has been a member of this family for some time. He's been a mentor to so many people. He's got a lot of experience, and the boss has an announcement to make to the family today. And I figured we'd break the ice of the announcement by we are going to get this plaqued on a gold plaque, and our appreciation to the boss for his years, 42 years of service, and 5+ million miles of driving with as an essential service. And that's what I put it down as an essential service.
That's fantastic.
Yes, congratulations, and in another way not, but I'll let you tell the folks why unfortunately we have to give you this honor.
Well, I know what I want to say, but I'm not sure what I'm going to say. I've had quite a career as a truck driver. I started out in 1979 in northern Manitoba hauling logs. Learned a lot there. Learned a lot about driving a truck there. And then I started working for a local family-owned company in Swan River, Manitoba. Hauled anything you could put on a flat deck or in a cattle trailer or a grain trailer. And not very often we got to pull a van there, but it was hard work, but I enjoyed it. And probably in the early 90s when I started pulling vans long distance up until now. So what I'm going to tell you is that in July of this year, I had a heart attack. And the doctors and myself, we all thought that I was going to be going back to work soon. Until a month later in August, I had another heart attack. And since the results of heart function tests since that time have dictated that I will not be driving a truck ever again. So I'm not sad about that. I'm disappointed about that. That's just the way it goes. I mean, I can't complain. I've had a great career, met a lot of people, seen a lot of things. I made some great friends here with the MacKenzie family.
Oh yeah.
And the Canadian Trucking Magazine family. And I'm still here. You won't see me on the road, but you'll see me somewhere in the coffee shop.
I
maybe.
may be taking him for a ride to Texas one day, and then he'll be able to train me how to drive properly.
I'll give you a hint what I'm going to be doing. This is my fishing hat.
And you love
Okay.
fishing.
So you know what I might be doing.
Yeah,
A lot of.
yeah.
And that's what I wanted to tell you, my friends, Canadian Trucking Magazine family, that I won't be driving a truck anymore, but I'm still here.
So besides his immediate family, you're the first people to know that the retirement is official. He started in February 1979,
Yeah.
and he's finishing in February 2021. I did it right this
That's
time.
it. Yep, 42 years.
42 years, folks, and unfortunately, the old tickers, our health can sure throw a loop into trucking and stuff like that when it comes to things like that. And we're losing a great person on the road, but we still have a mentor, because as long as we have live video and we're on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, did I miss anything? Twitter. We've got all that social media. If we ever disappear off this format, we'll be, just look for us on one of the others, especially YouTube and that. And we're going to rely on the boss to give us all kinds of advice, all kinds of opinions on things, and hopefully come to a bunch of the shows with us and stuff like that.
Oh, sure.
So we can't, with this kind of experience, I'm going to ask him share a few things. I'm going to read a few questions. Before I do that, the boss has a presentation to make himself. Hey, Caitlin, can you come over here beside me? The boss has a presentation to give you.
Presentation.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And there's a good reason for it and stuff like that. Because as everybody knows, Caitlin's a driver. And just come in closer towards us here. Caitlin's a driver, and the boss is always concerned with safety. He knows safety. He knows what should be safe. Caitlin's in a vehicle, and so he's brought a present for Caitlin over tonight.
Thank
did.
Giving you a present.
I've been trying to figure out how to give this to you since you got your driver's license, which has been a long time now,
Oh
about
wow,
a year.
yeah. Almost.
But a couple of times you were with your dad in the truck, I couldn't get him to stop. I didn't want to tell him why I wanted to stop, but anyway. So I got it tonight. This is something you're going to want to carry in your vehicle with you. Any questions about this your dad can answer. This is a safety hammer. This sharp part here will break the side window in your car if you
Okay.
need to get out.
It's like if you.
This sharp knife here will cut the seat belt. This is a magnet. Can stick on your car if you have an emergency situation.
Okay.
So if you broke down on the side of the road, you take the magnet and you stick that on the far driver's side of the vehicle, and you put that on and it flashes, and there's no reason for anybody to run into the back of your car.
And if you need a light, it's a flashlight as well.
But if you rolled over, which hopefully you don't, one of the things Cliff said is he hopes you never need it. But if you did, that seatbelt cutter, because the seatbelt will be jammed and it won't be able to undo, you just
Seatbelts
take
are
the,
hard to cut too.
yeah, you just use the cutter, it'll just cut it. and the door won't open because it's crushed. So you just take that and you smash the window out, and then you carefully go out through the glass.
Side window. It won't smash the windshield.
No.
It's a different kind of glass.
Yeah.
Now, I want you to have this with you in your car, but I hope you never use it.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So isn't that nice, folks? So also something sad but disappointing as we had to present this to the boss today, and this is going to be, of course, on the gold plaque with the logo and that, and it's going to be a service award presented to Cliff Hogg for his 42 years of essential service as a truck driver and his 5+ million miles of safe miles driven, and his thank you from his service from 1979 to 2021. He's no longer going to be driving a truck, Cliff,
Oh wow.
Yes.
as of this month.
I'm retired.
He's retired. 42 years on the road.
Oh, well, that's good for you.
Thank you.
Retiring's nice.
Well, I hope it is. I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll be just fine.
Yeah,
I get a lot of fish.
Help your brother with his honey.
with his honey. Or you're allergic to bees, aren't you?
I have been.
Yeah, that's it.
And if he asks, I still am.
Yes, and Brad, he's still allergic to bees. Share out, folks. We're going to be giving away some prizes coming up this week, some gifts. Fred says, first think, if you stop on the side of the road, put your four-ways on. Yeah, if you got power, put your four-ways on. Brad Hogg says, the B-man says, Dave, add in there's 5 million accident-free miles. That is huge. Yeah, it's 5 million of safe miles driven, which means no accidents or he didn't hit any troopers or anything. Well, not with the vehicle
Not with the
anyways.
vehicle.
Yeah,
You didn't perform like a Swift's top driver.
No,
that's
sir.
right. Tammy Martin says, all the best to you, Cliff. Sorry the retirement was forced one, but it sounds like you'll enjoy fishing.
I will.
And Wendy says, Cliff, it's time for you to enjoy your retirement. Happy fishing.
Thank you.
And Keith Bazin says, that's too bad. Sorry to hear that. Sean Lyon says, as my friend, at least you're safe and healthy again. Hopefully that old ticker keeps ticking and you won't be so stressed on the road down. And when you're fishing, try to get some for me. LOL. So that's Sean Lyon. I guess that's a friend of yours.
Could be.
Sean.
Yeah. And yeah, Sean Lyon.
I was looking to see if you pronounce it
And
right.
Richard Toker says, you catch lots with Slick. Slick will bring you out fishing, and he's got one of them
Yes.
cards where you can catch as much as you want.
I want to go fishing with Slick.
Yes. And TJ Young says, may the Lord continue to keep you safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stacy Stockford, wishing you well. Take care of yourself. And let's see.
The other thing I want to say is we've got great doctors, and the medical science has come so far. You know, this happened to somebody 40, 50 years ago. They weren't here. They
No.
weren't here any longer.
No, they're gone.
But
Yeah.
now medical science has come along a long way, and we've got great doctors, and I'm still here.
And our paramedics, a big hats off. The paramedics have saved so many lives and people don't know. And I'm going to tell you something that something I know and Cliff knows. First, I'm going to say Richard Toker was saying hi to Earl. Earl Little's here and says congratulations to the boss. Shauna Gray, Adventures with Storm Odin, says congratulations to the boss. Dennis Abbott, nice and congratulations. And hey, Gary, welcome to Manitoba. See how it's nice and cold. Fred says, and again, this bad Dave goes online when I'm in the shower. Hi, Cliff, Son, and Dave. And he said that before we released your name while you were still under the cover. And Brad Hogg says, completely earned and well deserved. Thank you, Dave. I guess that's for the plaque on behalf of all the truckers out there and your big family here at Canadian Trucking Magazine. Keith says, congratulations, boss. Mike Wells says, very impressive career. Shannon Bullen says, congrats. That's amazing. Richard Toker, congratulations, bud. TJ Young, congratulations, boss. William Leeway. Hey, Will, my brother from another mother. Congratulations, Cliff. Impressive. Will, did you read the what Paul put up? on the Facebook there. I'm not sure if you worked with him at all, with Mike. Shauna Gray, hey y'all. And I think I have caught up. And Darlene, welcome. Too bad it's so cold. Darlene just moved here. Darlene and Gary have moved here to Manitoba, and they've just settled in. Courtney Sutherland's there. Thank you for joining in, Courtney Sutherland. And John Duham says, so sorry to hear that, Cliff, but all the best in your retirement. Enjoy your life to the fullest. Actually, John, we were talking about you before, myself and the boss. And I'll talk to you later about that. But you know how we were talking about maybe a change in things? He's got an idea. Brad says, I have the bee suit in his size. Hey, and Ray Gumpf. There's a person been around a long time is there.
Was Brad on when I said that?
When you said what? Yeah, Brad was on. And Sean says, hey, by the way, is supposed to get +9 here in Calgary tomorrow. Oh, that's not very fair to say to us, freezing here in Manitoba.
You know, John Duhan, I fished in your province, Saskatchewan River.
Yes.
There's good fishing.
Yeah.
Nipawin, Saskatchewan, Tobin Lake, that's where I've been mostly. But,
Are you sure you're talking to John Duhan or Duham?
It may be
I'm
John
talking to
Duham.
John Duhan.
He's doing to Duhan. I'm doing to Duham. So we got him all covered. But that's because he's from Langham, so that's why I call him Duham from Langham.
That's not why. You just can't pronounce anything.
Oh, I know what I was going to talk about. So in any case, back in our days, folks, a lot of people were lost because the ambulance people were really good people. They were all volunteers and they were all trained by St. John's Ambulance. So basically, a lot of it was private ambulances too. So when you dialed 911 or 999 or spun for the operator to say you needed an ambulance, they had to get hold of the guy for the ambulance, the volunteers that were on. The volunteers had to get to the ambulance, then the ambulance had to get to you, and they were first aid trained. There was no CPR. There was the Canadian Pacific Railway, but oh, that's terrible.
They weren't paramedics.
Yeah, they weren't paramedics, even if there was 2 of them there. And what happened, it wasn't until the 1970s and the 1980s when in Canada we really started taking paramedic courses. In fact, I can tell you that I went into uniform for 5 years in a very remote location, in my opinion. And the nearest ambulance was 45 minutes away. So myself and another member, we went down to Minneapolis. We took 6 weeks off. The course was 6 weeks, which really isn't enough, but it was a crash 12 hours a day, 7 days a week for 6 weeks. And we took the EMT course, the Emergency Medical Technician course, which had CPR and everything else. And we had those courses so that we had the abilities to do it. Because if somebody dropped in our area of a heart attack or things like that, and we had to wait 45 minutes for a volunteer ambulance to get there, and they're just first aid trained, and we had full CPR and AR at that time. Now today, man, everything in Manitoba is government regulated ambulance. There are no private ambulances except for transportation in Manitoba. All of them are trained up to paramedic status. There will be a person on the ambulance that can actually put drugs into your system. It'll bring down your blood pressure and everything as you're going along. Everybody these days, what is that called, Angie? Is it called an AED? An AED. It's a good thing to know and to get if you work in an office, a warehouse, a community center, or anything else. Raise money and buy one of those AEDs. Anybody could use it. Even William could use an AED. And it's a device that sits on the wall. You'll see them in a lot of places, and hopefully they get more and more of them. We're going to buy one for our house. We're going to put an AED in our house here. And if somebody's heart stops, you take that AED, you get on it right away and give it a shot and get the heart started. Of course, you make sure someone's dialing 911. and gets the heroes going. Now, I don't know if my ex-partner is on here, but if my ex-partner is on here, I'm just going to steal the show for a minute and tell you a story in the 1980s while I was in uniform. Well, I was in uniform, and there are a couple of my ex-partners on here right now, so they'll be able to confirm this. I was in charge of the detachment. A young punk like me, because of my background and everything, I came in as the detachment commander. That means I responded to everything. And actually, there's a funny part of this, a lot of funny parts of this story. But anyways, my members were at a sudden death. A person had died. They went on the radio with me. They said we're getting quite a crowd here and stuff like that. We were in a restaurant. We actually, the funny part of it, because I was on the radio and talking, where are you, on the portable and going out to the car, we forgot to pay for our meal. Mm-hmm. We left the restaurant without paying the meal. We didn't realize it till we'd left. And my partner said, we didn't pay. And I went, oh my God, we got to go back. Full restaurant, we get out, we leave without paying. Anyways, yeah. And, we took off lights and sirens. So we get there. And when we get there and I come in, I look at the person and I said, what happened? They said, dropped of a heart attack. And I says, oh, how long ago? And they said, well, the police were here right away and you were here, spend maybe 15, 20 minutes. I said, did anybody do CPR? And there was a woman there who stepped up and said, I'm a registered nurse. I'm the one who called it. They were going to call an ambulance. I said, no, he's dead. I said, did you do CPR? What's CPR? She was a registered nurse, 1980s, and did not know what CPR was. So right away, all my members were trained in CPR. And we grabbed the gentleman. We threw him in the back of a Suburban. I had two people working AR and CPR. I had his wife in the back seat. I was driving like a bat out of hell. I called for the ambulance. I was going to meet the ambulance and do a switch, but I decided not to because I feared I was driving a hell of a lot faster than any ambulance could ever go. Anyways, he actually sat up. We got him breathing and his heart going. He actually sat up in the back of the Suburban. What's going on? There was two shields, one between the back seat and us, and one between the back seat of the Suburban and the very back. Mm-hmm. And she was leaning towards the shield, and it was the old steel shields with a roll bar. And I hit a bump as she was leaning through, just about knocked her right out. That's why I said the funny part is that she hit her head. But I saw the ambulance, and I thought, well, the ambulance can probably do about 60 miles an hour, 65 miles an hour, and I was doing probably 80 miles an hour, 90 miles an hour in a Suburban. So I carried on to the, and I'm doing it in miles per hour for our U.S. cousins, and everybody should understand miles per hour. And so we whipped to the hospital. We had him, so he was talking and everything. When we got there, they took him out onto the gurney, and I guess with the excitement of the hospital, knowing what's happened to him, he went into cardiac arrest again, but they were able to revive him and he was able to live. But there was the thing right there. He dropped in his backyard. The next door neighbor, who was a registered nurse for like 30 years, went, oh, he's dead, he's gone. And my members that arrived on the scene, she explained to him that she's a nurse. Like, we called the police, we called the ambulance. Oh, we canceled the ambulance, he's dead. Who says so? I'm a nurse. He's dead. I called it. That man would have been dead. Mm-hmm. And back in our day, like you said, back in our day, if you dropped of a heart attack, you got maybe an 80% chance that you're going to die because, one, the length of time it takes to get to be rescued. Number two, the people that arrived are people with great intentions, but back in our day, they were trained with first aid.
Right.
St. John's Ambulance is what they were. And the paramedic service is fantastic. And in most cities now, the fire trucks will try to race the ambulance to get there because it's kind of an unsung war between them who can get there faster.
Most of the time it's the fire truck.
Most of the time it's the fire truck gets there before the ambulance. And the people on the fire truck that arrive are trained paramedics. That's what they're trained to do. So Cliff, the first time he ever had a heart attack, it was like 9-11 minutes and you were in the hospital, eh?
It was from the 911 call to the emergency room was 11 minutes.
11 minutes. And unfortunately, this last time, And that's why we talk so much about fast. And I'll talk about fast in a minute. And there's a reason why it's called fast. Because Cliff probably wouldn't be retiring today if the second one was like the first one.
Right. The second one was a lot different because of my location. From the 911 call to the emergency room was almost 2 hours.
2 hours,
And,
folks.
I actually asked the ambulance driver if I could drive for a while.
Yeah, you put the hammer down.
Going a little faster.
Yeah, you wish you had me there driving. That's the reason, as I say, when I saw the ambulance, I just called in and told them to tell the ambulance to follow me. The ambulance couldn't catch me. I was humping her as fast as that Suburban could go. As fast as that Suburban could move, that's how fast I was going. Because
Wasn't fast enough, probably.
yeah, that was.
I have two cousins. I won't get into it, but on what you were talking about in the 70s, and this goes back to the 60s with the private ambulance people.
Yep.
And these two cousins of mine, they're brothers, and they worked for the local private ambulance owner. And they got this brand spanking new, shiny ambulance conversion 68 Chrysler Newport.
Oh yeah.
440.
440. Har, har, har.
And they were questioned by the Portage la Prairie Highway Patrol about why they were doing 140 miles an hour down the Trans-Canada Highway.
And trust me, a 440 can do that. No problem. The most I had a 440 up to certified was 153 miles an hour. It's the fastest I've ever done in my lifetime, and it was in a Grand Fury Interceptor with a 440 in it.
Yeah, a 6,000-pound car, about as aerodynamic as an unwaxed brick.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And so yeah, folks, back in the day, it was terrible and fast. Think of fast all the time. Now, fast means face. If you're with somebody or by yourself and you look in the mirror and your face is drooping a bit, you could be having a stroke. If you're having trouble lifting your arms, you could be having a stroke. If you have trouble with your speech and people aren't understanding what you're saying, and even you find that you're slurring your speech, you could be having a stroke. And the T, anybody know what T means in fast?
Time.
2 more
Time. Now is the time to get medical help. So fast. You have to get, the faster you get medical help, the less damage to your body, your brain, and everything else, because you're not getting oxygen, you're not getting the flow, you can have damage. So fast. I really like preaching that. And a good friend of mine who was a policeman for years and a trained paramedic, he was cursing me because he lives in BC and he's a truck driver because he's watching and seeing truck driving. So he went, got his license, he's a truck driver. And I'm preaching fast. I'm preaching all this. And he's driving on the Coquihalla and he's feeling that his face is drooping. He's lifting his arms and he's feeling they're heavy and hard to lift his arms. And he's trying to say, I slid a sheet I slid upon the slitted sheet I sit. And he's having trouble saying that. And he says, God damn it, MacKenzie. I think I'm having a stroke or heart attack. And he pulled over and he pulled the brakes and he called 911. And he says, it was such a horrible feeling. He didn't want to call 911. He's been a career policeman. Took paramedic training because his last posting was in Rivers, and again the ambulance were coming from Brandon and that, so he wanted the training, and very close friend, and boom, he had a stroke, he had a heart attack, and he got to the hospital in time. But he said that it was a horrible feeling, saying, "Am I just sick? And am I just?" He was embarrassed to call 911.
I know that feeling.
Yeah.
I had that.
Yep, and never be embarrassed about calling 911. Never be embarrassed. I called 911 when I was in Eddie's Corner in Montana, and I thought I was having a heart attack. I thought I was having a cardiac arrest because I had all those symptoms, plus I couldn't even stand up. I was so dizzy I couldn't stand up. My heart rate and everything, I could feel my blood pressure, and of course it turned out to be gallbladder and a gallstone and stuff like that, thank goodness.
I
But
mean, that's not minor. That's,
no, no, it wasn't. They brought in one ambulance, and then because of my conditions, they brought in a paramedic because they actually still had almost like a volunteer fire ambulance there. And then they decided to get paramedics. There's 3 police cars, and it was interesting when I went back to the next day to the Eddie's Corner. I went inside and. They were all talking. They said, "Did you see the shooting out in the parking lot? There was a shooting out in a parking lot with 2 ambulances and 3 police cars."
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It was me just getting out of the truck, or them taking me out of the truck and going to the hospital.
You know, this place Dave's talking about, Eddie's Corner, that's the Old West. That's the Old West.
Yes,
right there.
it is.
And if something happened, it's a shootout.
It's a shootout. If something happens, there's ambulances and police cars. It's a shootout. So Richard Toker said, "Yup, thought I was having a stroke in 2019. Do you remember? Yup, we got Slick to pull over. And when they got over, he was so bad, they called an air ambulance in because it was the U.S. And he got to take a $25,000 air ambulance ride, but saved his life." Dennis Abbott says, "Great advice, Dave. Thank you so much." TJ Young says, "Time." I'm not sure what that is. Leadfoot Dave says, "Dennis." Yes, yes.
You were asking what
The
the T
T.
stood for.
Time.
Oh, wait, yeah, time. Oh, thank you for that. And Kevin says, "Try beating Star's ambulance." That's true. There's no way to beat them. And Richard Toker said, "I got an ambulance ride." And hey, there's my buddy Will says, "Never stop working on the patient until their head falls off." That's right, Will. That's right. Thank you for your service. And hey, I'm in town, Will, so we might have to get together. Dennis says, "Great job, Dave. It was the same way where I lived back in the day. You bet you." And Scooter Boys says, "Did you go back and pay for your meal?" Yes, I did. And it was funny because the owner of the restaurant, when we went back, says, no, that's okay. The meal's on the house." Oh no, I better not say that. I just about said it on live video and ended up losing half our audience. I'm going to say it anyways because my friends like me. I said to him, "What do you think we are, city cops?" We pay for our meals.
Oh, we're going to stop with the city cop jokes, eh?
Yeah,
Right there?
right
Okay.
there. Otherwise, I'm not going to make it through the city.
Yes.
And
You don't want to say why there's always 2 of them in a car. No, we're not going there.
No, we're definitely not going to go there. Or why the city police always had 2 white doors on a black and white police car. That's so they wouldn't jump in the back seat by accident when they're going. And you know what? Cliff told me a trick, and I believed him. He says, "Dave, if you're in the city of Winnipeg and you get pulled over by one of those traffic cops, just roll down your window and drop a 20 out the window. It'll look after it all the time." I said, "Are you sure?" And he says, "I'm the boss, right?" I said, "Okay, I'll believe you." So I got pulled over. I rolled down the window and I dropped a 20 out the window. And the city cop came, he picked it up and he held it at the window. He says, "Did you drop this?" I said, "Nope, sir. No, that must be yours." He said, "Nope, mine was a 50. Oh, God, we're going to get into trouble with city cops here. TJ Young says, 5 years ago, I pulled a 30-pound plus sturgeon out of the Saskatchewan River north of Swift Current, Saskatchewan. Fishing in it is amazing. Been able to teach my 4-year-old daughter to fish also. Nice. 30-pound plus sturgeon
You
out of
bet.
Saskatchewan.
They're in there. I've
Oh.
seen them.
Nice. Keith Bazin says, "Sean Lyon, good, keep it going. I'm headed there tomorrow." And Richard Toker says, "I go to Grand Rapids, Manitoba fishing, bud." Yeah, well, guess what? You'll have to bring Cliff out on the boat. He'll show you how to fish.
I know where that is. We'll
Yeah.
go. Get some big walleye there.
Oh, yeah. And Shauna Gray, Adventures with Storm and Odin, said, "I have had to use an AED machine and had to call 911 too many times, even once for myself." That's true, my sister. That is very true. Scooter said, "That's funny right there." And Sean Lyon says, "I was told to go to nearest Tim Hortons if a city cop pulls you over and offer them coffee and donuts. And that will help, apparently." Yeah, I put a video up on my thing. It was from fire department made the video saying I got stopped in my truck. Do you remember what the song was? And he hands them donuts out the window. and it's a song. Anyways, it's funny right there. It's and you know it's true. Policemen do like donuts. I got a box of donuts sitting on the. I'm a retired policeman, and I've got a box of donuts sitting right here on the table from Tim Hortons.
Can't break those habits.
Can't break those habits.
You know, I wanted to tell you one thing. You were talking about the AED, and you know Big Woody. You know people from Big Woody.
Yep.
I'm from Big Woody.
Yep.
You have in-laws from Big Woody.
Yes.
And what a great community of people it is. Here's an example. We got together, had a meeting, put together some money, and we put an AED device in the Big Woody Community Center.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Yeah, folks, they aren't that expensive, and they're worth having. And as I say, even in my own house, out where I live in the middle of nowhere here, we're going to put an AED right here in the house, and we're going to teach all the kids on how to use it and everything else. They are a life-saving device. They are great. They are awesome. If I was back in the day and I was working, I would make sure I had one in my car.
You don't even have to know how to work it. I shouldn't say it that way, but you can get the ones that are so automatic now. The trouble is that what can happen is a person will have the paddles or pads, whatever you want to call them, on the patient and then scared to pull the trigger.
Yeah, yeah.
You can get the ones that are automatic now. Put the pad on, the machine
Knows it's
knows
connected.
It's connected. It knows your heart stopped, and it'll do it. It'll give you the shock automatically.
Automatically. Yeah, life-saving is very, very, very important.
And I think that machine we put in there was under $2,000.
Yes, yeah. Hey, Craig Cowan's our evening gentleman. How are you doing, Craig? And for those that have joined us later, we've got the boss with us, Cliff Hogg. And what we've done is we've presented him with a service award today. This is just the template for it. It has to go in and actually be put on the plate so that it's a metal plate. It should be ready in about, 2 or 3 weeks. And when he gets it, we'll get a picture of it for the magazine with him holding it. And basically what it says, it's a service award presented to Cliff Hogg, the boss, for years of essential service as a truck driver with 5 million plus safe miles driven. And thank you for your 42 years of service from 1979 to 2021. The boss, Cliff Hogg, has been out there as an essential service, hauling freight and being a truck driver. And right now he is retired as of this month from truck driving. Craig Cowan says it also sees my pacemaker defibrillator and won't shock me.
Oh, the machine
It
sees that you have that.
it sees that he's got a pacemaker and a defibrillator and won't shock me. Oh, that is a good thing that it senses that, eh? That is very good. So it's got a sensor that knows you've got those particular items on you. I know there are items that detect that because I have friends. I have friends that are paramedics, and when they get somebody who in a tragic accident or something is deceased and they have one of these, they actually can sense it and shut it off remotely so that it's not continually firing. So yeah, so with the people here and 42 years, over 5+ million safe miles without an accident, what would you say is the worst experience of your 42 years?
Oh, the worst. My goodness. You have one every day, don't you?
Yeah, I do. My last month has been the worst experience of my truck driving career.
The worst. Well, okay. This is the one I'll tell you about. It can happen to anybody, even an experienced driver like Dave or myself. The top of the Coquihalla Highway in British Columbia, Highway 5. People that have driven that highway know that when you're going westbound or towards Vancouver, you stop at the top at mandatory brake check area. And once you leave there, it's really steep. Like I think it's 12% for the first couple of miles.
Yep.
And then there's a big snow shed. And after the snow shed, it's still downhill for a long ways, but it's not near as steep.
Right.
Very, very steep the first couple of miles. And I came over the top of there, and it was in the middle of the afternoon on a bright sunny day, but it was in the spring, April. And the sun was shining on the road. Now, the situation is, when you're approaching that area, you're almost going uphill a little bit, and there's mountains, and the road is shaded. When you crest the Coquihalla summit and start going down, the sun was shining straight onto the road surface.
Yep.
The road surface had been covered in packed snow, deep packed snow, probably 5 or 6 inches deep, packed hard.
Yep.
And now with the trucks that were going 100 kilometers an hour are now going 5 or 6 kilometers an hour with warm tires and salt dripping off of them.
Yep.
And the sun shining on the road, starting to make potholes in the packed snow.
Ooh.
Deep potholes, 5 or 6 inches deep.
Yep.
And I came over there with basically half a load. I had 20,000 pounds in a trailer and a 5-axle unit.
Oof.
And the experienced drivers already know where I'm going with this story.
Yeah.
So even in low gears, in very low gears, the truck would hit a pothole. The drive tires would break traction, lose traction, with just the engine brake on.
Yep.
So immediately you have to regain traction, which means pick up some speed, get your tires going the same speed your truck is going again. So you do that, hit another pothole, it happens again, it happens again and again and again. And the result was that I was almost standing up in the truck, and I came into that snow shed at 80 miles an hour. I was really, really hoping that the road was bare and dry in that shed.
Yeah.
And it was.
Nice.
And there was some serious braking going on there.
Wow.
But I'll tell you that was pretty intense. And it can happen. That can happen to anybody. It happened to me.
Yep. Yep.
I came over slow. I did my brake check. I came over slow. Everything you're supposed to do, it still happened.
Yep.
So you have to always be, aware of anything that could happen. It just might happen.
Yep. That is the big thing. Do you want some more ice in your drink?
No,
Do you know?
we're good.
Okay,
It's
you're
still,
good.
It's still cool.
Yeah. The trucking, folks? And then what would you say would be the funniest thing that ever happened in 42 years?
Funny. Well, I've lost a lot of memory too.
Yeah, I hear that.
But one day I was driving along the highway, and I see clothing on the highway. There's all kinds of clothing. There's pants and shirts and socks, and there's underwear, and there's things on the highway. And then it wasn't too far after that, 5 or 6 miles, we come to a town that has a stoplight, and there's a car full of family, mom, dad, and 3 or 4 or 5 kids in it. Car was so full that they had to put some of the luggage on the roof rack. You know how cars used to have
Yep.
a roof rack and tie it on there. Well, one of the suitcases on the roof rack had the top had
flipped
open,
open.
and all the clothes blew out on the highway. But everybody in the car was having a good time because they were going on a vacation somewhere, not realizing that somebody didn't have any clothes when they got there. But
How their clothes were gone. Oh my God.
they were still having a good time. But as soon as they realized where their clothes were, things were going to change.
The things you see on the highways,
Oh,
folks.
yeah.
The things you see. TJ Young says it can happen so fast and to anyone. Oh, you're absolutely right. To the worst part of the story. Craig Cowan says a magnet shuts a pacemaker off. Oh, I did not know that. I did not know that. Craig Cowan says I feel like I have 50 million miles behind the desk being a dispatcher.
Oh, yeah.
He's over at Arnold Brothers right now. Keith Bazin, is that 2 to 3 weeks, Dave, time? 2 to 3 weeks time. And so I just want to talk again. This week we're going to be giving away some stuff. We're going to be giving away Magnum, a Magnum stool that I just finished getting. We just got these books. I got 3 of them, A Fighting Chance. And this is a great book. I'm really going to be promoting this because I want to see everybody get lots of money. Make your money work for you. And A Fighting Chance was created to address the lack of financial literacy in high school curriculums around the world, leaving young people unequipped to manage their finances as they enter the world. As youth enter their financial lives, it is critical that they have the foundation, functional knowledge and tools to make sound financial decisions that will build wealth through measured risk-taking and financial strategies. Now, he's talking young readers, but A Fighting Chance provides readers with financial guidebook for their life that will allow them to create and execute a plan that allows them to accomplish both their financial and non-financial goals. And let me tell you, anybody, company drivers, owner-operators, persons working in a warehouse, retired people, you read this book, and I guarantee you it will give you tips. Because I've talked to the author of this book. I've talked to a buddy of mine who's a financial whiz, a real financial whiz. He's really built his money, and he has read this book, and he says this is right on the mark, plain English, and can show anybody how to manage your money better so your money's working for you. Because especially right now, I mean, we're not, at least I'm not in the wealthy 90% or 1%, or I'm a poor truck driver. And in this book, I found some tips with my mortgages and stuff like that, how to manage my mortgages so I'm making more money from my mortgages. Did you hear what I said? Making more money from my mortgage than paying out money. There's a lot of tips in here. We're going to give 2 of these books away, signed copies of these books. This guy, they're talking about them all over the place. If you put in and you Google Doug Allen, A Fighting Chance, he comes up. He's been on all the big TV stations and stuff like that.
Your phone over here so I can see what I'm going to do.
Sure. Oh, nice and close. And Doug has signed these books, and he's become quite a celebrity with bringing these books out. So we're going to be giving a couple of these books away in the next couple of days with some other good stuff. And Courtney Sellers says millennials don't even carry change. They are the debit card and buy a $1 item. Yeah, I hear you that, Courtney. Keith Bazin says, Craig Cowan, that's if they can read. That's right. TJ Book says, one book I get behind other than my logbook. I hear you. And Craig says, send copy of that book to Ottawa. Mm-hmm. And that's when TJ said if they can read. Yeah, if they can or they want to, that's for sure. And that's so funny. And Shauna Gray says, oh, I mean that Magnum a stool for my workshop. Yeah, well, everybody who's sharing tonight, sharing this video, sharing is caring, they're going to have their names put into the draws coming up. What, you didn't share it out tonight?
What?
You didn't share it out?
Yes, I did. That's not what I was doing.
Oh, I know what she was doing. She's making some more sweets. We got a thing of donuts there. And what are you making, cookies?
I'm making banana chocolate chip muffins and strawberry banana muffins for the kids' school lunches for the week.
For the kids, you see that? Banana muffins, banana chocolate muffins, and strawberry muffins for the kids.
I feel like a kid.
I feel like a kid too. Homemade banana muffins and stuff like that. And so, folks, I'm going to talk more and bring up more and stuff like. I know that's hard to believe. I'm going to talk more because I'm a quiet, shy guy. But I'll talk more about the prizes and that tomorrow night and Tuesday night. Tuesday night, hopefully we'll have live. And in a few weeks, when this comes back, all shiny and everything else, we'll have a presentation and some nice pictures with our good friend, the boss, Cliff Hogg. And you can tell how much of a friend you are to everybody out there, because everybody was saying Cliff Hogg, Cliff Hogg, Cliff the boss. Even though you were in disguise, they were all figuring, yep, that's the boss. And Keith shared to 6 pages. Thank you. And Will says it's only 150 pages. If you can figure out how to fill out 2 logbooks, you can easily figure this out. That is great, Will. That is fantastic. Make sure you share this out and send a note. I'm talking about this book here, Will. And John says, Andrea made banana chocolate chip muffins today. Yum. And Shauna Gray said, been a long day, snowy, yucky roads in South Dakota, and Odin has been sick today. Oh, no. And Courtney Sutherland says, now he can write his memoirs. Now you can write your memoirs. You can write a book about trucking. And let's see. And
I know the title.
What would be the title?
The First 5 Million.
The First 5 Million. That'd be a good one. And TJ's laughing because it's for the kids. And Sean says, hey, Dave, is the vote still going for Tara Ward, or are they done? Tara Ward is unfortunately done, folks. She didn't make it in there. And Will says, thanks, my brother, for sharing the book. Thanks for your service. Well, my service was an absolute pleasure, Will. And thanks to my service, I got to meet you. Well, that may have been a curse, Ange.
What?
Will, he goes under a different name here. The name he goes, the hidden name is William Leeway. Can you figure out who that is?
I don't know what that is.
Okay, so he's saying thank you for your service, and I was saying thank you for his service, and I'm glad that he did. Otherwise, him and I would have never met. And I said, I wonder if that's a curse or a pleasure.
Well, it's a pleasure for you, a curse for him.
That's true. That's true. And you be safe out there, Will, because you're still working, and I'm just driving a truck and having fun. And Will also was the one that put me onto this book and that, because Will's just not a pretty face and a dumb cop. He's
He's a famous movie star.
he's a famous movie star. Actually, folks, I'm going to do a reveal here. The Winnipeg Police video that shows the guy riding the motorcycle and motorcycle safety, and he crashes and dies. That's Will on the motorcycle. Just because, and they didn't have to do much acting because that's how he drives a motorcycle and a cruiser car. But
You know I have a motorcycle license too, right?
oh, do you? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now I have a motorcycle license with an air brake endorsement.
That's right, exactly. A motorcycle. So yeah, Will did that famous Winnipeg Police video for awareness of motorcycles and that. Great job, by the way, Will. Great acting, crashing a motorcycle. As if he needed any practice on that. But from that, he's actually starred in not starred, but been in cameos in a couple of movies. Because they had a movie crew do that. And actually, Angie deserves the credit because she was the one that told him
You need credit.
to apply for that.
Oh.
And he's met some famous movie stars.
You're his agent.
Yeah, you're his agent. And Will, Angie wants agent fee. Oh,
And then I just dismissed it.
okay. So did it come back on live?
It's live, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know it, but we've talked for an hour. Fido has this thing for an hour. John Duhan says, quick, get the AED and revive him, LOL. Did we come back on, folks? Yeah, it was my phone. And Sean says, you're live again. All right, we use the AED. And Courtney Sutherland says, that's the least amount of talking I've heard from Dave in a long time. I've known Courtney for over 20 years.
It's been an hour, yeah.
Yeah, quick somebody CPR for an hour even. And Will, I mentioned to Angie about the checks in the mail and gave you some more accolades and says maybe you'll have to come and do a live with me here, Will, and talk about finances. And Courtney says, yup. And Travis Wallace says, nice to see you guys. Hey, Travis, good to see you. Sorry, folks. Yeah, we've been talking an hour. Yeah, this has been a long one today. And my Fido gave a notice that it had been an hour and basically put us on hold. Angie went over and clicked it and got it back working. And I guess we should cut off at an hour because we yak. But you know what? I could sit here and I could talk to the boss for 3 hours about trucking. But what an announcement tonight, folks. You heard it here first. Here first today. The boss announced his retirement. 42 years, February 1979. And 1979 was a great year. A lot of good things were made in 79, right, Angie?
Yeah.
She probably didn't even hear what I said.
I did.
To 2021. So 42 years. And, you know, that is fantastic. 42 safe years, accident-free years. That is pretty darn good. The boss says, or Brad says, boss, say hi to Dave and family for me. Okay, thank you, Brad. We'll have to have you on again talking about honey. I love the fact that I've got Brad's honey with me in the truck sometimes. He might be a little mad that I took his honey and
You know that I shouldn't say.
you know I shouldn't say.
Brad sleeps with his boss's wife. You know that?
Oh, I've heard he sleeps with his boss's wife. That's
Oh, because he's the boss.
that took her 1 second. Brad says LOL. And Sharon Butner says, evening, gents. And Courtney Sullivan says 1975 for me
Wow,
when
huh?
she started driving. And it's been a great time, says Dennis. Yes, thanks so much. Courtney, yup. And really great to see everybody. Are we back live again? Yeah. We took that AED and we shocked the phone and got it working. So everybody have a great night. And do you know what we usually say to the folks at the end of the videos?
Yeah, I know.
I'd rather hear from you.
Then about you.
Folks, keep
Keep
on
on
trucking. And we're going to get William to shut us down here. And we'll talk to you soon.